I'm Joe.
I'm Joe's mom.
And we're Eastside Vibes. Today we're covering an artist that I'm assuming that you have heard of, but like didn't not know a lot about going into this.
Correct. I knew the name.
Musically.
I knew the name.
And I wondered if you'd maybe, if you don't remember, but if you'd seen her perform at the Grammys or something, because
that's probably where I know the name from.
Her performances are well known.
Okay, that's probably. I'll have to go back and look.
And the artist we're covering is Rosalia, and we're covering her new album Lux. And so Rosalia, as I'm sure you saw from your research, has always been considered like a pretty experimental artist, pop artist. I don't know exactly like how you would even define her her genre.
They said her genre was classical flamenco, R&B, pop, and electronic music.
Well, I mean, I know that's what someone is saying about this album, but
no, they were saying in general that's what she is. Well, yeah, it's true. Depending upon the album, it would change. Yeah.
Because her first album, technically it's her second album, but her first album, I think it's called Los Angeles. That's a cover album actually of classical Spanish songs. So her second album is, to me, I consider it her first album.
I get you.
And that's called El Mal Carrer. I can't roll my R's, I'm sorry.
Carrer.
But that album, burst her onto the scene.
Okay.
And I believe it was 2017 or 2018. Mm-hmm. I remember when it came out, because there was literally, I'd never heard anything like that before. Mm-hmm. Going into that, I didn't know, and you probably didn't know either, I didn't really know what flamenco music was.
Yeah, I had to look that up.
And once you think about it, I'd be like, oh, I think I've heard this in musicals and stuff. I've heard that rhythm.
Yes.
But I said, not a lot of people really knew what it was.
Right. I just kept thinking of is it flamenco dancing or whatever? And
yeah,
I just kept
it is.
Do 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 like that.
Well, it is associated with that.
Yeah,
that
it
flamenco
is.
dancing.
Yeah, I just got a totally different thought process of what it would sound like.
And but then if I think about those dancing, this kind of music does go with that dancing. And I can even think of that dance going to this music. But anyway, seeing it on stage or whatever, because I feel I know I've seen it.
Yeah, I'd have to see it.
But so Rosalia is a classically trained singer in flamenco.
Yes, I thought she was trained in opera, but she is not.
Yeah, no, she's not. She's trained in flamenco, which it sounds operatic, I would say, or symphonic even.
Yes, I find her whole album to be almost operatic.
She's always been known for having a phenomenal vocals. But so that first album, because lyrically was basically told the story of this 15th century novel called Flamenca, which is about a flamenco a woman, and it's considered a feminist, not a pre-feminist novel in the Spanish world.
So this is a real book?
Yeah, that album El Mal Carrer is
about a book
based off of that book lyrically.
Wow, that explains a lot about her. Now I get it. Yeah.
So when that came out, people are lyrically, it's very dense, but people don't. If you've never read that book, you don't know what she's talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah, and obviously when it came out, she propelled into superstardom because she's doing something that no one else is doing.
Nope.
And vocally and lyrically and sonically.
Yes.
After that album came out, she released a couple singles and she was featured on some songs that were reggaeton and Latin trap.
Cool.
And I remember when it first happened, some people didn't like it because she's not actually from the Caribbean.
No, she's from
Spain. She's from Barcelona.
Yeah.
So she was making that kind of music, but she wasn't, and she obviously sings in Spanish, but she was making that style of music even though she wasn't from that culture, and obviously people get weird about that. And then her second album, which came out in 2022, it's called Motomami.
Okay.
that album is mostly like kind of Latin trap and reggaeton. It has a little bit of flamenco stuff on it, but it's 1000% different. I can show you. We can listen to that at some point, just so you get a baseline for her. 1000% different than this. Sounds nothing like this.
So she really changes it up when she changes it.
Like I said, her first album was more similar to this. Her second album was out of nowhere.
Okay.
And the second album, lyrically, was like extremely deep and personal, like talking about like her own life and the way she feels about things.
Okay.
Once again, it was like critically acclaimed and praised. I'm pretty sure Motomami is like one of the highest rated albums on Metacritic, like of all time.
Just
in music, yeah, of
just
all time.
Music.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like it has like almost like a 100 rating on there.
Wow.
Which means critics and fans thought that album was like that good.
Yep.
And she kind of hasn't, Rosalia, like she's released a couple singles, and she had a little joint EP with her ex-boyfriend Raul Alexandra called Beso. I think that came out last year or the year before, but she's been kind of quiet over the last couple of years, and then has been really quiet in 2025. So, and then when
it has something to do with someone.
When I saw that like she was in the news again, like once an artist like this, you start seeing random interviews, you're like,
something's happening.
An album's coming out. Yeah.
Like if Drake started doing interviews, or you'd be like, something's
speaking
happening.
of Drake, he's doing those like live streams. It's like, okay, like he must be releasing an album soon. Like that's why.
Yeah, gotta promo yourself.
And I remember seeing her in some like interview for like Vogue like a month ago. I'm like, oh, cool, like Rosalía'S back.
Yeah.
And then the single Berghain came out, and I sent that to you. I'm like, we gotta review this when it comes out. And I remember you being like, this is like what are you talking? Like, what is this?
Yeah,
like, this is a pop song that came out.
Yeah. What? Yeah.
And when something like that comes out, that song is like, it's like. It sounds like something from an opera, to be honest.
It does, but then compared to the rest of the album, I mean, not all the songs are the same, but that one really made me feel like I was in the location she wanted me to be in for that song.
Yeah.
I mean, 100%. Just the instrumentals, phenomenal.
I mean, I would say that about maybe every song.
Yeah, the instrumentals, unbelievable. Yeah. Unbelievable.
But, yeah, when that came out, like, I sent that, and I remember when listening it to myself, clicking on it, because I saw that title, Berghain. It's the name of a club in Germany.
You know, if you didn't know,
I told her about it.
Yeah, they're telling me, yeah.
And when I saw that, I thought, like, maybe it'll be, like, an electronic song, because, like, that, like, plays with, like, being, like, that club. And, obviously, it's nothing... like I said, it's like an opera. It's like a symphony.
Oh, it is. It is.
It's beautiful to listen to.
Yeah, the way it starts instrumentally, like I said, you feel like where you're supposed to be.
And and immediately I saw like everyone online. They're like, oh, "She's back," you know. She's doing.
That's cool.
She's doing that again because as great as Motomami is, like I kind of wanted Rosalia to get back to the weird stuff because. No one else is, like, pushing the boundaries like this in music, really, especially, like, in Spanish music.
Yeah, I was going to say, yep.
Like, I would almost compare it a little bit to, like, The Weeknd and pop music, but even, like, The Weeknd's never made anything that sounds like this. This is crazy.
No.
So, as I mentioned, her new album that just came out is called Lux.
Yep.
And, sonically, I would say a lot of it has basis in the flamenco music. A lot of the songs do have like the clapping flamenco beat.
Yep.
But I would say there's a little bit of like hip hop in some of the songs too, and some of the arrangements of the drums. It's really weird because like there will be like a bass drum that sounds like a hip hop song, but then
her voice comes on,
and all the instruments. It's all string instruments. Every single song is a symphony. You can hear it.
Yeah, it is literally a symphony.
It's not,
and she said she performed with symphonies to make this album.
It's not like listening to, you listen to like a Pharrell song or something and like it sounds like someone's playing guitar, but they're actually usually not. It's just, it's on their MIDI board or whatever. For this, you can tell that there are string instruments and when the synths come in, there are synths in some songs too. I think that makes the string instruments sound even stronger because it's like they're combining classical music with like ultra modern music in a way I've never heard before. Obviously,
Yep.
And before we talk about a few of our favorite songs, which for me I could probably talk about almost any song on this whole album because I think all the songs are good, to be honest. I wondered if there's anything else, because I know, like, you'll do research about the artist, if there's anything else you want to say about her. I feel like I covered a lot about Rosalia, but...
Oh, I got a lot. Trust me. I'll break it down. So, lux actually means light in Latin. So I had to look up the meaning of it. No, I did not. So you took Latin. I didn't take Latin. So that's right. The album has 15 songs and 13 fragments of different languages all throughout.
Yeah.
Like Latin, Arabic, Hebrew.
I know there's Chinese, there's Italian on
there. Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, the fact that she knows all of this. I mean...
Or I know some of the songs have, like, guest singers, too, or not every song has, like, features cited, but I think there's multiple vocalists on, like, several songs.
I agree.
And I know, for example, there's the song Porcelana, where it doesn't say it's featuring anyone, but if you look at the credits on the song, it says there's someone else's voice talking, because there's a guy on that song.
Right.
It's obviously not her, but...
So continue. You were talking about praise that she has received from people. So she has received praise from, I guess, Madonna loves this album. And then if you've ever heard of Andrew Lloyd Webber, I mean, if you've ever heard of...
I would assume he would love this.
He said this is the most definitive album of the century. I mean, for Andrew Lloyd Webber, who created Cats and Phantom of the Opera.
Is he Phantom of the Opera?
Oh, he's huge. I mean, he's probably the biggest person who's created musicals ever.
Yeah, I mean, I would say at least like in the 20th century.
Yeah.
I would say for an artist who's considered a popular pop artist to come out with something that sounds like this, and for it, I don't know if you saw, but it broke the streaming records on Spotify.
I believe it.
For the first week.
I believe it.
Like, it killed, like, Taylor Swift.
Wow.
Which is pretty crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's in Spanish.
And it's in Spanish. Yeah. Well, it's in 13 languages.
Yeah, 13 languages, right.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
And for it to
cool.
sound like this, I think, like, that shows, like, how impactful this is. You know, because there's... And I think it's really cool, too, because lots of, like, young people may not have ever even heard anything that sounds like this before.
Right.
At all. Because if you didn't grow up with someone who likes musicals, or like where have you have ever heard this kind of music?
Yeah, musicals and an opera, things like that.
How many people have like seen a video of an opera?
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. So this I thought was the most amazing thing. She is actually receiving praise from the Catholic Church about this album. I thought that
that's
was
kind of weird.
Well, how it came out is because the bishop of a church in her hometown was one of the first church representatives praising her work. This also happens to be the same church that her grandma goes to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. But in an interview with this bishop, he said, while some of her songs are provocative, she speaks with absolute freedom about what she feels God to be and the desire to know Him. And even the Vatican has spoken out and said that, you know, basically the same thing of what he said. Yeah. I'm like, when you got the Catholic Church praising you, and this is not a church album.
Yeah. Well, speaking of, like, I'm not, like, religious or anything, but, like, I will say, like, this album, that's another thing about it that's, like, cool as far as, like, introducing stuff to, like, younger people or whatever. It talks about, like, the idea of, like, God and divinity in a way that I haven't really heard an album, like, a popular album do this.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, ever.
Right.
Because, like, it is, like, pretty, like, provocative and sexual. It talks about, like, drugs and, like, it's, like, very human to me. Mm-hmm. I feel it's, like, kind of, like, and it kind of, like, goes, talks about, like, the connection between, like, human and spirituality and, like, egos and how, like, whether, like, you feel you're a god, you know, if we're gods on earth.
Yeah,
and,
idling and all that stuff. So you were going back and saying that she had been quiet for a while.
Yeah.
It is because she was dating Jeremy Allen White, who is from the Bear.
Well, I know she was
things.
also dating that singer who she had the album with last year.
Right, but
yeah.
he was her recent person she
Okay.
was dating. And she said, so this is in an interview she had on a Couch podcast, and this is what she said. She explained the delay in the album was actually a result of a brief romance which completely diverted her creative focus. She said when she finished her tour, she was seeing someone and she remembered the feeling inspired to write letters to that person because of how she felt, you know. And she said, as my affection grew, I realized my focus of what I do, of music, had shifted. And so she then remembered thinking, wait, why am I doing this for someone else? I should be working on my album and working on myself. So that's when she, I looked up, I read things about what Jeremy Allen White has said about her, what she said about him, and nothing was ever negative. It was just more of she became off-centered with her life because he's in Hollywood, all that kind of stuff. And then she eventually was like, I got to get back to what I do.
Well, some of like maybe the Hollywood or whatever, like I feel like some of that is played into that lyrically on this album.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some songs are about him and that other guy.
Yeah, there are songs where it's like it seemed like it's like at one point she's like talking to someone saying like, I know like how bad you are, but I don't care. And at other points, like basically telling this person that they kind of like ruined her life or like ruined her mentality.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it's like really, it's like fascinating.
Yep.
And there are, like I said, there are songs that talk about religion too. And,
yep.
But anyway, I guess we'll talk about a few of our favorite songs.
We could go on for hours about this album, really.
Well, I feel like a lot of people could, and that's
right.
kind of the point.
Exactly.
But, yeah, I guess, I mean, I could talk about, like, several songs, so I guess I'll let you talk about a couple of yours, songs? And then I'll talk about a couple of mine.
So I looked up how to say them, because I'm not good in Spanish. It's Mio Christo Piang Diamante, which that's the name of the album, and it translates
That's
to...
the name of the song.
Right, what?
The name of the song.
That's the name of the song,
yeah.
Sorry. And it translates to My Christ Cries Diamonds. So I was like, okay, going into it. So before I even talk about the lyrics or anything, I really want the watchers to just almost like close their eyes and get this image into their head, because this is going to help you understand what the song means more and why it is the way it is. So I want you to imagine that it first of all, it begins with Rosalia quietly singing along with the piano, and her voice is not as prominent and like it's not like this powerful operatic voice. It's just going along with the piano, and then midpoint stringed instruments are introduced, just a few of them, and then by the end, like we've talked, the whole symphony came in on this one. Her voice was really intense in her her sincerity, because as she was singing this song, you could hear like cracks in her voice. Like it wasn't the perfect, flamenco.
Yeah.
It was, you could hear there were like emotional cracks in her voice. Like most of her songs, so this is where you have to think of this one. I imagine her performing this in an opera. She's wearing like one of these long, I almost want to say like Italian old dresses with the veil and all that stuff. And in the background behind her, it's like a real simplistic town, and it's got like a few small trees and everything. And that's like the image I think of when I hear her sing this song.
While you say that, I was thinking about this too. You know, like a lot of imagery when I'm listening to this I got, to me it feels like Shakespearean.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
and Shakespeare was performed
like,
in the theater.
Almost like Hamlet. Like it literally like was watching like the Hamlet movie or watching it on stage, and like the settings behind them.
Mm-hmm. That's the setting is really came
like.
into
me
on this
one. That's what this album sounds like.
Exactly. So it uses Italian lyrics throughout it.
Yeah.
And during an interview with NPR, this is what she said about the song. When I found out about St. Francis of Assisi and St. Clair of Assisi, apparently they had this really strong friendship and this strong bond. So she says it was so beautiful. And she was like, I was like, okay, let me write about the friendship. But it's not like a church song in the sense that you're writing about the friendship of the both of them. It's a metaphor for other things, but it's really, she's talking about the bond that human beings can have. And that's where she went with it, is the bond that they can have. Let's see. She chose a relationship, so Rosalia chose a relationship for herself, where she says, graceful gravity and grace is heavy. So I was like, is that just her saying that? So I actually looked up, what does this mean? And it's a real statement. And graceful gravity and grace is heavy means this refers to the give and take between like different people. If you're talking like spiritually, it's like grace and spiritual lightness versus heavy burdens. So it's kind of like the lightness of living, but yet you have the reality of living, or the same with a relationship like that. Lyrics that I feel really, really portray this image is that love cannot be chosen and cannot be let fall. My dear friend, I carry you always. My dear friend, the love that isn't chosen doesn't just drop. My dear friend, with you, graceful gravity and grace is heavy. So it's powerful. It is powerful. We've done many, many songs, many albums. Okay. Yeah. This isn't my favorite album, but she is my favorite singer by far of anything we've done. By far. Yeah. And it's all in a different language, and that didn't matter to me.
I think this is something too, like, I mean, the more you go back and listen to this, the more I feel like it could end up just being like your favorite thing, because
like, I've downloaded some of these songs. I can't even sing them, but I've downloaded them.
I'm saying like eventually, because it's like I said, you could just like listen to this and not think about it, or you can listen to this and like sit there and like contemplate stuff.
Yes,
if you actually know what she's saying.
Right, exactly. But no, you could just sit. I almost feel like it's a song that it's not like a song you can sit and like do like calming exercises to, but it's a song that where you sit and you like close your eyes and listen. You truly feel images in your head of like, where could she be performing this? What does it look like? And all that stuff. So that was my first song that I did. My second song is actually, it's called Sauvignon Blanc, which is a type of wine. But it's actually French for savage. So it's a French word, which I didn't realize. And Sauvignon actually means wild, and Blanc means white. Yeah. Now, how that came into the
wine, it's like a wild white wine.
That's true. A wild wine. I was trying to
probably
figure
like
out how this
grapes or something.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
So again, think of yourself in this. So you're going to understand why I'm talking about this city in a minute. But the setting is a vision in Abela, and that happens to be it's in Spain, very close to Madrid, is what it is. Close to Madrid.
I've heard it's beautiful.
That's what I heard. Yeah. So you have to think in your head, if you put like a background behind you, there's a rolling countryside in this area of Spain. There are intact medieval castles walls all throughout it. And it has historic architecture in churches and monasteries throughout. So get that image rolling in your mind, and then I'll explain like where it all leads to. With that said, imagine Rosalia casually walking among the churches. Like she's like in the area where she's kind of walking through the streets, and there's nobody around. It's just her walking through the streets, but you can see the architecture of the walls and the churches and the monasteries. And eventually she stops in front of a church and then continues to sing. So she's like singing throughout, but then she stops in front of a church and she continues to sing, and her voice gets really powerful. The meaning of the song is actually about the disconnection between materialistic things and uh, spiritual or non-material things, like thoughts, feelings, things like that. It was inspired by Saint Teresa of Avila, who, and she was a Spanish spiritualist. Like, I didn't know they had spiritualists back then, I guess. So she was a Spanish spiritualist who abandoned her wealthy background and became, at that point, a Carmelite nun. So she was actually very wealthy, but again, she got rid of the materialism to be able to do better things.
No. Side note. So, I say one of the reasons why I'm not religious is because of this. But growing up, I went to this Catholic school, and they would make us do something called adoration.
Yes.
Which is where you have to sit in front of the thing for an hour.
The crucifix is what I'm saying.
No, it was like, I think the tabernacle, is that what it's called?
Oh, the tabernacle. Yeah, it's like a table. Yeah.
So you would have to do that for an hour, and you would have to either pray, which I didn't want to do, or they would let you read books about saints. And there are multiple saints in this. You mentioned Saint Francis and Clare of Assisi, and I know their story because of me and like my friends, we'd go in there and read these same books over and over for years, literally for years. So I probably read these same stories like 100 times.
Okay.
And that's another, I know the story of Saint Teresa of Avila because of that.
Yeah.
And like I can literally remember reading about how she was like from like a rich family, because so was Saint Francis of Assisi, by the way.
Oh wow, there you go. No, I've been Catholic my whole life. I've always thought that they were more humble, countryside-ish, and
he was another person that came from a rich family and became I believe a Jesuit.
Yes.
And started like basically like living on the street.
Okay, so he got rid of that materialism too.
And she was the same way. So that's two saints. They have a very similar story that she picked for this, by the way.
Really interesting.
Yeah.
And even
someone who like has a lot of wealth and is around a lot of vices and decided to give it all away.
Yeah. Wow. That's right. I do remember you saying that you that you read the books in the back. I do remember that actually. So Sauvignon Blanc isn't about wine, just so you know. It is a metaphor for, now I'm talking about her perspective that came from Saint Teresa. It's actually about divine happiness that comes from being like dedicated to God in this case. Okay.
Because I wrote about this song and I got it more that her like dedicating herself to her partner.
Yes, I completely 100% agree with you.
Because that's how I wrote about the lyrics for this on my blog. That's why I keep looking down, because I'm like trying to read what I said. If you want, you can go read my blog about this, because I talked about several of the songs.
Yes, eastsidevibes.com.
This is one of the songs I picked about, and I said that she's and it's funny because I didn't write about Saint Teresa of Avila in my thing, but I did write that she's singing about giving away all her vices and all of the wealth she has to be with her partner, because she cares about that more.
Yep.
I guess I didn't see that as being God. I saw that as being
another person.
Another person.
Another person. Yeah.
Whatever makes you happy at the end of the day.
Exactly. 100%. So lyrics that I feel really kindle with this whole thing, and I don't even know how long we've been talking about this, but I know it's been a while. I'll kindle my light with the Rolls Royce that I'll burn. So she's basically, I'm getting rid of my rolls. I know I'll earn peace when there's nothing left, nothing to lose. That could be a big part of a relationship right there. I don't want pearls or caviar anymore. Your love will be my capital. Okay. And what else matters? If I have you, I don't need anything else. So I can see the two. I mean, you could see the spiritual side of how she's singing that.
Yeah.
But she's like, it's the metaphor for what you said, the relationship.
Yeah.
So, and
that's what I thought. And then sonically, that one, I really thought it stood out. Because it's like the softest song on the album. It's basically the almost like only acoustic song, because there's a little bit of strings, but for the most part, the melody is just a piano.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Exactly. And, he's going to talk about his songs, but I'll just say throughout even though she doesn't have that operatic, because I didn't know that flamenco was a type
Yeah.
of singing. You can hear like her pitches like go
Yeah.
like
She's an unbelievable
right.
vocalist.
Like I think of like Snow White when she's in the forest going like oh like
Well,
that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But then she's got these points where she brings her voice, but she doesn't just drop like the I'm up high, I'm down low. She
Yeah.
like sings it down to a lower note, and I've never heard anyone like her.
Yeah.
I really have. And it did not matter 1 ounce that I couldn't understand what she was saying.
Yeah.
It was just
And
beautiful.
then when you know what she's saying,
then it makes it even better.
Yeah.
Exactly. So those are my 2 songs.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna like pick 2 songs like we normally do because 1, I think we have been talking for a while, and 2, I wrote about several songs for this on my blog, and I could talk for like 2 hours on them.
We could.
Yeah, but I'm gonna like mention a few highlights and something that kind of related to something you just said.
Okay.
But first, I want to like shout out the first song, the Sexo Violencia y Antes.
Oh my gosh.
Because like bringing you into this, like you already knew a little bit what it would be like with Berghain, but like this is extremely powerful. It's like almost like it feels like dark.
Oh,
like
100%.
the first song, like it seems like something bad's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's almost like Carmina Burana, where it's like do 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 do, like you just
and
have
then
that
there's
like oh my gosh.
There's like a symphony singing behind her.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's like a almost like a church choral or a church choir or whatever it is singing behind her, and it's like oh like that.
And lyrically, all it kind of says is just like I'm gonna talk about like bad things that happen in my life, like sex and betrayal and what's going on in my life.
Yeah.
It's an unbelievable like intro to the album.
I was gonna choose that one, thinking you were gonna choose that one, so that's why I didn't. But it's the power.
Another one I want to like briefly shout out is Porcelana.
Yes.
Because
I almost chose that one.
That's like another one that's sonically a lot different than. It's probably different than the rest of the whole album.
It is.
To me, it feels a little bit hip-hoppy.
Yes.
Like, there is a flamenco beat kind of in the background, but, like, the bass on it feels hip-hoppy. And Rosalia, like, raps on this song.
Exactly.
That is 1,000% different from any of the other vocals on this whole record.
Oh, it's this, like, what came out of, was this, like, midway through or
it's
a
like
little
the
bit?
fifth or sixth song.
Yeah, all of a sudden you're listening to all this and then it's like, wait, what? Like she's waking you up. Like, hey, this is where you...
And it's extremely, because even if, like, some of the instrumentals feel dark, like I mentioned in the last one, it's still like it's still melodic, obviously. Like this song is not melodic.
No, not at all.
It's
not
like almost harsh.
Right.
And I like that, even though it may not be everyone's like favorite song. It might not be one you listen to on your own. But in the context of this, it kind of like punches you in the face a little bit.
It does.
Yeah. Which is really cool. And lyrically, it's like almost as dark as the actual song, because she's talking about how like basically about how good she is, like almost like I'm a god. Okay. I can do whatever I want because I'm the diva and I can get whatever I want. I can get you and you're gonna do what I want.
There you go.
And which is also like kind of lyrically a lot different than a lot of the rest of the songs.
Oh yeah.
Another one I want to shout out, just because you mentioned the Snow White thing, is La Perla.
Oh.
That song, when I listen to it, it makes me think of that scene in Snow White, or even like weirdly. I thought of the scene in what's the movie that's like real life Snow White?
No, and
the Amy Adams one.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. That came to my mind too.
It's called like Enchanted or something like that.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
Like that scene where she's singing to the animals coming into her New York City apartment.
Yeah, like
that's what this song reminds me of.
He's 100% right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's funny.
It's really bright and like sweet. Once again, it sounds like something like a musical. Like this would be like a song that like the girl protagonist like sings when you're introduced to her.
Yes.
Like, that's what it feels like to me. And then the last one I want to mention, I mean, there's other songs I really like, a couple of songs at the end of the album, but I love the song Dios en un Stalker.
Okay, yeah. You'll have to remind me of that one.
That's probably my favorite song on the whole album.
Okay.
It's like one of the more like traditional flamenco songs.
Okay.
Where you hear the beat. And sonically, like it gets like more powerful as the song goes on.
Oh, I remember that song.
Yeah, where it's
Okay.
like it kind of starts off like not like soft, but like her voice gets stronger and stronger as the song goes on.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like the progression on it.
Right.
And I like this song lyrically a lot too, because basically she's calling herself God.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like there's a lot of points on this album where it feels like she's a little bit for referring to herself as a deity.
Yes, and that's comes up a lot.
Yeah, a lot, which is an interesting concept, like as humans.
Right.
But she's referring to herself as a deity with flaws because she's like basically saying she's going to do whatever she has to get this man, to get this person.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's calling herself a stalker.
Yes.
Which is
that makes sense.
Which is also like feeds into like if you think God's always watching you,
Mm-hmm.
is that a negative thing? Is he a stalker? You know, it kind of like plays into like that mentality too.
The metaphors are unbelievable. So, like you were talking, her voice gets stronger. That's different from the Mio Christo Pian Diamante song.
Yeah.
Because in that one, even though her voice is cracking, the instrumentation gets stronger, but her voice still stays like this kind of demure, like, I don't know how to explain it, but it never gets stronger like that. I remember the song he's talking about now. It really intensifies.
Yeah.
And you're just like, wow.
Yeah, and like it feels like she's getting like more powerful.
Mm-hmm,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, those are the songs I wanted to mention. Like I said, you also mentioned a couple that I really like, and we've talked about several songs anyway.
Yes, we have.
I think like overall, like I wrote in my blog that I think you could write like college style essays or teach classes
You mentioned that.
on the sound of this,
Yes.
the vocals, and the lyrics.
Mhm.
Like maybe even especially the lyrics.
Right. Because again, you can look at it from like, she's meaning this.
She's talking about herself. She's talking about
Right.
saints. She's talking
Right.
about God. She's talking about a partner.
Right.
But it's very human and not human
Yeah.
at the same time.
Yeah, like I almost would see it not as like having to be a class in the music department. I would see it being a class in the English department.
Or like philosophy.
Or philosophy.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be even better. Philosophy.
And then like musically too, like it's beautiful, and it's unlike anything like we said, it's unlike anything that's coming out.
No, I mean, it just hopefully next year. I mean, next year I hope that it's going to be up for a Grammy.
Yeah, well, I mean, it better win.
It better win.
Yeah.
Plain and simple, it better win. And I just, I kept getting just like visions almost visually, just thinking about what this would look like. It's a stage performance in an opera,
to
or
see
a
this live.
or a musical. Yeah, like I almost feel like she shouldn't be like performing it in like a normal concert. Like it has to be much more glorious than that. And I wonder when she does go on tour for this, I really wonder what it's going to look like. And if she does ever tour in America, I don't know if she does. I'm going.
If she performs old songs,
Mm-hmm.
or if she only does this.
Right.
Because I would almost rather just hear this completely through with nothing else.
Nothing
just
else
live.
popped in,
Like
right.
like performed as like a play or something.
Right.
Almost.
Or exactly. Does she come to the US for tours?
I mean, I'm sure, but
I'm sure, but yeah.
like it's funny, I just thought of like how they have that American Idiot musical.
Uh-huh.
Like they should
that's right.
actually make a musical for this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, without a doubt.
One other thing before we go that I wanted to mention is, I don't know if you noticed, but she has production credits on like every single song on this.
No, I didn't notice
Yeah,
that.
like she was the main or co-producer on every single song.
Wow.
Which also is like pretty amazing to me.
Right.
Because she had to like get these like that shows she's a composer basically.
Right.
Because she's getting these string instruments in here.
I can't remember where I saw it. It was somewhere else when I was saying that she was talking about I've gotten away from my music and all this kind of stuff. And I think the guy's name is Adam. He must work with her with creating music. And he kept saying to her, when are you going to do something? When are you going to do something? And so when she came came out with that, he was also, and again, I'm not sure if that was his name, he was a big part of the production, but she said as well that she was working with him while putting herself into making the actual song and album as well.
Yeah.
So that was something she interviewed with and said.
But like we've said, this whole thing is just pretty incredible. And
nothing like I've ever listened
yeah.
to so far. Yes,
Yeah.
nothing.
Well, it's nothing like anyone's really heard.
Mm-hmm.
And after this, if you know Rosalia and you're watching this, if you know who she is, and you know the song, I'm going to show my mom something like Chicken Teriyaki or one of the songs off Motomami to really like show you how different that is compared to this.
All right.
But,
wait, she has a song called Chicken Teriyaki?
Yeah, it's one of the songs on that album.
What does the Migos have one? Don't they have a song with chicken
No,
you know what I'm talking about, though. Yeah,
yeah,
that's what
song.
I mean. I'm like, wait, she's with the Migos on a song? But
yeah, it is. Well, it is a hip hop song.
There you go.
But anyway, so that's our opinions on Rosalía'S Lux.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Joe.
I'm Joe's mom.
And we're Eastside Vibes. And thanks for watching.
Goodbye.